Okay, this is part 2 of the traffic light tutorial, um, step 2, the traffic light switcher, and also the most complicated one to do. As you can see, complication, but it works as you saw in part 1, step 1. Um, Instead of explaining step by step, I'm going to start by just telling you what variables and events to create, because then it's going to flow a little bit quicker. First of all, in the events, ignore a finish. You don't have to create a finish. They will create one for you. Create a local event called green. And where's my sound? Oh yeah, it's gone. And a local event called orange. I placed it in caps because it's easier to find within a list with orange, red, green, whatever in it. And then create 3 global events, one for each light, and call it toggle and the light color. Green, orange, and red. While you quickly do that, I'm gonna place up my music again. Okay, and then toggle path, which is the 4th global event for this FSM. It's yes, the 4th global event for toggle path. I'm just quite curious right now. You don't have to make toggle path a global event because it's already created here. So don't create a toggle path, sorry. They will automatically create it for you. So this is something that was added automatically. And then the can reduce that screen because you already know it works. Your variables. You can have a game object called blocker, a game object called green light, game object called orange light, and a game object called red light object. It's like green light object, orange light object, and red light object. Ugh. The reason for that is because you're going to need to access your the child elements of the traffic light, and this is how I do it. Then created material variables, two for each light is light on, light on, light off, light on, light off, light on, light off. I'll quickly show you by how to find the lights. It's quite simple. When you have created your material variable, just in this material thing, it will have just material, no material, whatever selected there. Just click on this dot and search for red, and when you get it, or green when you get it, and orange. Look for lit and unlit. Lit is on, unlit is off. And path active, you have to create a bool variable called path active. I also suggest you just pause from time to time so that you can catch up with all the variables. I'm just going through it relatively quickly because I want to work my car now. So here's all the variables. I'll show you how each one of them are used right now. I'm also fighting against time because if this thing gets too large, it takes forever to upload and might crash. First, we're going to start with the starting statement. Here. With the start. It will most likely be called S1 if you followed the tutorial, previous tutorial, the startup tutorial. Just call it get lights and control click it to add a finished transition, and then create another state called reset lights. This one, and don't add a finish statement for him, otherwise you're gonna just suffer. On the get lights state, use the action browser to find the action get child. And we're gonna add 4 of them. It's a lot, but you can add all of them. Then on each child, you make sure it selects the owner. Then for every child name, it's a light, or like the game object is the owner, and then the child name is red light, orange light, green light, and car blocker. And then you're gonna store each one of them in the respective object, which is red light object, orange light object, green light object, and blocker. And also something I did, which I'm gonna probably forget, so I'm gonna show you it now. If you just collapse that, select red light, in the inspector, go to add tag, just add red, orange, and green. The other stuff you can ignore. Yeah, you can ignore it. I didn't add the other two, so just add red, orange, and green light, and then apply red, orange, and green light to each of your lights, of course. And now back to this thing. Okay. And then also the car blocker. He will be untagged. Then just select the tag for each child. It just helps finding the child a lot better. And then on reset lights, you use the set material action to set as a game object that you specify, which is red light object. Material index you can ignore, and then set material red on. And also activate game object, another action. You specify the game object. It has to be the blocker, and activate it. This will prevent any car from running over a red light, like most humans do. But anyway, then toggle red has exactly the same um, state as reset lights, but the only reason this one doesn't go over to that one is because it takes too long for startup, and then lights get out of sync, which isn't fun. And another thing I have to say for the light switcher, do only one of the lights, for example, traffic light right. Uh, Only do the coding for one of them and copy it over to, like, if I would delete this one, I'm not going to do that now. Uh, just do the coding in one of them and copy it, make a duplicate, and then rename this other one and just reposition it, like where its position is. Whatever. Just the advice from me, so you don't have to do all of this twice. Because you can just copy and paste. Or you don't have to delete it, you just have to select everything and copy and paste it in. You're just gonna have to do this one manually because it's a start statement. You can't have two starts and you can't delete start. Sweet. Okay, going back. I have to not waste time. Toggle red. It sets the red light objects material to red on and also activates the blocker. Then, just to make sure there's not two or more lights of this on at the same time on light, I do this for every light. I toggle orange, and then the red is just to indicate it's for the red light there. Toggle orange for a red light, toggle green for a red light. You'll see here toggle red for orange, toggle green for orange, etc. And then you just do the same for not exactly the same as set material, orange light object, and set it orange off. The material called orange off. And then for green as well, green light object, green off. I'm first gonna just quickly glance over these two. We're not gonna explain those two because they're interesting. You create a state, three states for each color. As you can see, red, orange, green. Each one of them is a toggle. The orange one toggles orange on and toggles red and green off. The green one is similar to the red one because he deactivates the blocker where the red one activates it, but it also toggles his light on and the other two off. This will allow objects to go over the green light. And because the orange light doesn't deactivate or activate it, meaning during the orange light, the thing is still deactivated. Only during red the thing activates the blocker. And now these two. And also if you're curious how to do these things, I'm just going to show it to you again. All you do, control click to create a state. You right click, a global transition is above it, and a normal transition is below it. So a global transition here is orange, or you can add another one, green, or you can add another one, finished. It's when those events are called, this one will execute. And then if you just add a normal transition or a normal, yeah, you can also, if you want to add a finished, you can just control click it to add more. Control click, you add a state, control click on a state, you add finished, right click global, and you add the thing above. Now I'm just going to leave those. Ooh, okay. Checking my program because it said I had errors. Now that you know what goes on here, this is also whenever green is called and orange are called by toggle the lights. And here is when red is called. Toggle these three are sent by the traffic light manager. These two are sent by these two. There's a specific reason for that. If I go to the screen first, it has a bool test, an action called bool test. It tests if the path is active. If the path isn't active, then it shouldn't activate the green light. And that's why it's true, it sends the event called green, which will send this. But if the path isn't active, it will just do nothing. But the moment you add a finish statement and link the finish statement here, even though you did a is true test, it will still go on over to the next statement because it just follows the routes. That's why this one is not connected to this one. And that caused a lot of trouble to figure out. And then the same thing with orange. You test if the path is active. If it's not active, then the light shouldn't go orange. And then toggle red doesn't have this test. Ugh, I hate this block. Toggle red doesn't have this test because it doesn't do any harm if the light goes red when its light goes red. It stops the car from going over the road, so it prevents collisions to some extent. Or basically, if the light is red, the chances that a car is going to collide is very, very slim. That's why toggle red doesn't have a test. It doesn't need to test. And it works, as you saw. And this is, oh wait, I almost forgot the most important part, because without it this thing doesn't work. It's this bloody thing. And also the reason why your um, traffic light group has to be the parent, the topmost parent of your thing, and not have a parent just like a grouping parent for all the traffic lights. The most important thing, make sure north and east is its own parent, and then um, this thing will work. If it's not the parent, then this thing won't work, and then this thing won't work, and then this thing won't work. But only this thing will work. I learned from experience, a lot of debugging. And what this thing does is a state called get path active, and you trigger it with toggle path. The reason why you don't in the events create toggle path is because you create it because it's already a global event. I get so passionate I start to mumble. It's already a global event, so you just have to look for toggle path and select it. When you select it here, it will automatically be added to your event list. I'm just leaving that. And then this most important crucial part has two actions: get root and get FSM bool. Get root uses the owner to get the root parent, and that's also, did I tell you? Yeah, I probably forgot. You need a game object called parent. In case you probably added it if you paused and just added all the events, but if you add it based on what I said, then just add it. You're gonna need it. And yeah, this one doesn't have names, so it's fine. Get root and you store the root in parent. That means light switcher will get north and store it in parent. And then get FSM bool will you specify the game object, which is parent, and then it will get a event, or actually, sorry, not an event, scratch that. It will target the FSM, which is traffic light FSM, which is north's FSM, and also east has exactly the same FSM or name, traffic light FSM. And this is also why spelling is important, because if you don't spell things right, it doesn't link, and if it doesn't link, nothing works, and then you cry a lot, or I do at least. And then you target the variable path active. Path active is what toggles which path is currently active, and you store that variable in your path active. That means every time the path switches, your traffic light switcher will know next time toggle green happens, but it should toggle green. If there's any uncertainty more, just give me feedback. I'll explain things more. I got so into it right now. But basically this is the light switcher, FSM, and also the most complicated one. Okay, I'm going to conclude this video, the traffic light tutorial, part 2, step 2.